people on the product. And I think for us, we've had some really good retailers. We were just talking about one today that came on with us, Owl's Nest Barbecue. He's awesome, but he sold a lot of product, but he's passionate about it. Yep. He talks about it. He educates his people, his staff, everybody on it.
The Owl's Nest Barbecue 2025 Rib Contest, brought to you by Susie Bulloch and all the folks at Hey Grill Hey, by Butcher Barbecue and David Bosca, by the good folks at the Good Charcoal Company, judging done by the guys at Chatted Up Sports, with help from Chattanooga's own Jim Reynolds. March 29th, 10 a.m. at Owl's Nest Barbecue. Be there. $16 days.
16 days, and that's the big day.
From today. Probably the biggest event ever at the Owl's Nest Barbecue Supply, 9043 Lee Highway, Ottawa, Tennessee. 15 teams, 15 racks of ribs, 5 judges for the championship of 2025 at the Owl's Nest Barbecue Supply Rib Championship. I can't wait, Pete.
Steve,
I can't wait.
They've been practicing, man. The folks out there, I'm getting pictures all the time.
Yep.
They're posting them everywhere. I've seen more ribs cooked in the last week than ever. And all these pictures they keep sending us.
They come in the store on Saturdays and they get their phone out and they go, "Look at these, Steve. You think that looks good, Steve? Can I do this, Steve? Can I try it this way, Steve?" I said, as long as you're cooking over charcoal, you can do anything you want.
Brought in some sauce and wanted us to tell me how to make this sauce a little different.
Yeah, one guy's bringing in sauce. We're tasting. It's going to be great. It's going to be great. And, man, we can't wait. Don't forget that we are sponsored by Hey Grill Hey, all the good folks there at Hey Grill Hey, by Butcher Barbecue, and all the good folks over at the Good Charcoal Company are sponsors of the Owl's Nest Barbecue 2025 Rib Championship. Let's see. Now we've got to go. We got to figure out where we're going to put everybody.
That's
15 teams. That's a lot of people. That's a big footprint.
Yeah, you got plenty of room.
That's a big footprint.
Plenty of room.
We may have to close off that road.
You own it. You own the road.
Hey, don't forget too that both of the lump and the briquette, the Good Charcoal, is in stock now. We got our both pallets in. And they're in the back, but we've got plenty of it. The briquettes are $16.95. The lump is $18.95. Pete and I've used it. We did our test. 24 minutes to light it in a big charcoal in a big chimney.
In a big chimney.
So it's right in line with
the bag says anywhere between 15 and 20 minutes, I think, but it was good. It was close.
Yeah, 24 minutes. That's what you'll need to know. Also, we just got in the new electric knives from Butcher Barbecue.
Those are nice.
Those are and $69. Great price point on them. That's gonna be a good hot product, especially around Christmas time. And I know we're talking about Christmas a little early, but I mean that's gonna be a good thing to have, Pete, to sell, because I've got an electric knife, a cordless electric knife, and I use it for carving brisket. It's great for turkey, meatloaf. If you've got a meatloaf, you want to
anything
like we did Saturday.
I like the blade selection.
It's 4 blades.
Yeah, 2 9-inch. One is a thin 9-inch. the 7-inch, and I think an 11-inch. Is it 11?
I think so.
Yeah, yeah.
Comes with two batteries too.
Look,
and a charger.
I have an electric knife. It's not battery operated. It's probably 42 years old. I'm sure I got it when my wife and I got married, but I still use it and love it.
Well, it's got to be, when it's cordless, it's great. It's everything's out of the way. You can grab it, use it, chuck it over to the side, and do what you need to do, and then it's ready to go again. You don't have to worry about getting a cord wrapped up. And also coming really fast, hopefully soon, are the wing kits from Hey Grill Hey. They flew off the shelf. We did that video a couple weeks ago.
Yep.
And I think we'd ordered, was it 12? 12, I think we had a dozen.
First time? Yeah, I think so.
I think we had a dozen, and they're gone.
Yeah.
They're gone. We had a couple people coming in asking for them, but they're on the way. I talked with their Ryan over there today, and they're on the way. So that's a good thing. All right. Now we got really two special guests. We've been talking about these people a lot. Hey Grill Hey, Susie Bulloch and her husband Todd. And I can't believe, let's bring them on. Well, there they are. Wake up, everybody. Get off the phones and wake up. 10 years ago today, Susie Bulloch goes on some website or something and buys the domain name Hey Grill Hey. Am I lying or am I dying?
No, I went to GoDaddy.com and paid $36 for my website domain and a year of hosting. And
what were you originally going to just use that for? So what did you think Hey Grill Hey was going to be in 2015?
My goal was to create a food blog. I was at that point a professional recipe developer. I had written barbecue and grilling recipes for Traeger and a couple other brands behind the scenes. And that was what my specialty was writing barbecue recipes. And I felt like I wanted to teach more people how to cook barbecue at home. And I was an avid lover of food blogs. As somebody who loves to cook, you're always looking for a new recipe. You're always looking for a new idea. I was spending my internet time reading food blogs and learning how to become a cook. And a lot of these women that had started these food blogs were kind of my original cooking teachers and mentors. And so I took everything that I knew and loved about food blogs, all of the storytelling, the education, the teaching, the helpfulness, and my love of barbecue, and put it into a barbecue and grilling food blog. And that was really my whole goal with Hey Grill Hey when I started it, was to just make barbecue a little bit more accessible in the way that I felt food blogs were doing a great job of back then, of really teaching the home cook. It wasn't culinary school. It wasn't a restaurant. These were essentially the modern day version of your mom's and your grandma's cookbooks, right? The right. Neighborhood church cookbook, or the elementary school recipe swap, or the old recipe tin box that had been handed down from generations. Food blogs were the modern equivalent of that. And I really wanted to kind of share my recipes and my methods of cooking and things that I had learned with the people of the internet. And honestly, I didn't know who would read it. My mom was probably my only reader for months. But I really wanted to have a space where I could share what I was learning about barbecue and grilling and how I was feeding my family and the recipes that we liked and new inspiration that I had. And so that was the goal in 2015, was to start a food blog. I had no idea that it would grow into an online barbecue school with the Grill Squad. I had no idea that we would launch our own line of products and seasonings and rubs and sauces, or a YouTube channel, or all the things that we've done. I had no idea that it would lead to Food Network appearances and teaching Shaq how to cook a Thanksgiving turkey. Like, there are just so many things that I never could have.
An appearance on Owl's Nest.
Yeah, I never could have seen being on Owl's Nest on my 10th anniversary. Like, there are just things that, I never could have imagined when I started, just with the idea of helping teach more people how to cook barbecue and kind of doing it from a female's perspective. So it was a fun adventure.
Hey, was there a turning point? Was there a turning point that you hit that said, I got it. It's going, it's getting there. Sometime in that 10 years that you just said, yes, I mean, was there
I wish there was one moment, but I feel like it was a collection of moments. There were a
Okay.
lot of highs and a lot of lows over 10 years, right? In the first year, I was really fortunate. I submitted a audition video for Ballpark Hot Dogs and Food Network. They were hosting a Guinness World Record event to grill the longest grilling marathon. And I thought I could do that. I could grill for a really, really long time. So I submitted a video with one of my recipes, and they picked me to be one of their representatives to cook for this Guinness World Record event. They flew me out to New York City. They paid for our hotel. Todd came with me. I met a bunch of Food Network people. I cooked on a New York City street corner. We were able to win the Guinness World Record. And that was within 7 months of starting my website. And I thought, oh my gosh, this was meant to be. Like, to have this kind of experience fall into my lap within a year of starting the website really felt validating. And I was like, this is going to be a thing. I'm going to actually be able to make this into either a business or whatever it was that could help support my family, a really strong brand. This is needed. So that felt really validating off the bat. And then the next summer, I quit blogging completely, and I was ready to just let the whole thing die, because the next months after that were crickets. It was it was a lot of lows of like, okay, now we have to do the work. Like, I have to develop the recipes. I don't have a boss. I don't have anybody telling me what to do. Oh, and I also have 3 very young children. And so the reality of the actual work of this business building set in year 2, and I did not think I was up for it. I did not think I was capable of it. Nobody cared if I was doing it or not. Nobody was reading the website, like all, the negative thoughts that are sometimes intrusive. So yeah.
People in a heartfelt thanks to y'all, Todd, sponsoring, being one of the sponsors of the contest. It means the world to us. And Pete and I, we've got you a present for your 10th. We did, okay, and we're gonna give it to you right now. So just sit back and enjoy this. And everybody watching on your phones and at home, seeing y'all enjoy this too. It's not very long, but it's just something that we wanted to do for you.
He's trying to make us cry on our birthday.
A lot of memories, I'm sure, through that. A lot of memories.
Yes.
Well, I was going through the pictures, Todd, and I wanted to. All the pictures of Susie with the friends are people that Pete and I have interviewed on the show over the years. So I've tried to get all of our connections together.
That's awesome.
But that's for y'all. That's for y'all, and I'll put it in a Dropbox and send it to you if you want it.
Yes, thank you so much.
10 years is a big deal in business. I remember my 10th anniversary. I could not believe I made it. All the mistakes I made. And, I was a regular down at the bank, and I wasn't depositing in those days. I was taking out, more, give me more, give me more. It's just 10 years in any business, especially in this environment we live in now. Both of you, it's just fantastic. And the website is all those recipes you've got on there, Susie. What is the day like for? Let's go over the schedule. We'll start with you, Susie. What is the Susie Bulloch daily schedule? Because the content that you've got out there is enormous and it's incredible and it's well done.
Thank you. It depends on the day. So I have kind of blocked my time a little bit so I can turn my brain off. Sometimes it's computer days and emails and managing the logistics of a business and managing our team and having meetings and, all the business things. Those are not the favorite days, but they're the important days. And other days are content days. So I get to put together a schedule of what videos we need to have filmed. We have days that I do just Instagram videos, and I usually just film those by myself. We have our recipe shoot days are some of our favorite days. And I'll usually cook 8 to 10 recipes in a single day. And I have a photographer that's there. I have a kitchen assistant that's there. And I have my writer that's there. And we're able to kind of put together not just the recipes that I've developed. The recipe development process usually happens at home. These are the things we eat on weeknights for dinner, or we've been out traveling and we have something like we have a recipe coming out this week that Todd and I ate in Puerto Rico a couple of years ago that I've just been like, it's been stewing in the back of my brain. And so I get to take those recipes to our shoot days and feed them to my team and get feedback in real time. And we get to put together what's going to be the most helpful, what's the best way to write this post. We just style and shoot beautiful photos. So those are some of my favorite days. And then we have separate days for filming our YouTube content as well. And the YouTube content is videos of recipes that I've been cooking for a long time and we think would be really helpful. Because sometimes it's good to read something, right? We all know how to read a recipe and that's valuable. But sometimes seeing somebody cook something in real time, you're able to see like, oh, we grilled it so long on this side so that it has some really nice caramelization. This is the kind of crust that I'm looking for. And it's one thing to describe it, but another thing to see it. So we try to dedicate a little bit of time to have weekly videos going up as well that can give people kind of more that visual demonstration of what something actually looks like during the cooking process. So it's a mix. Those are my days. Todd's days are a little bit different than mine.
Yeah.
It's hard to say. We have basically right now we just got a brand new warehouse, a nice 7,500 square foot space. So there's a lot of just going in. We've got some really good help there that we've hired and just kind of managing shipments. We have a lot of retailer shipments that need to go out to hardware stores like yourselves, and then a lot of direct consumer sales. But then we've also taken on a project of helping other creators come have food products, release food products to the market. So different barbecue companies and different things. So I'm kind of managing the orders from the co-packers, getting new co-packer relationships, making sure quality control on the products. Like it's just a lot of emails and desk work for me right now. But then I get a help like on shoot days and film days, and those are my favorite days.
Yeah, I think we all like we get to eat the most.
Pete's got a question, but before that, I want to ask Todd one thing. When Susie did the video of the ribeye in the air fryer, did you believe she was going to do that? And did you try to talk her out of it? Because I watched that today. I stumbled across that, and I could not believe what I was seeing. I thought her. I said
sacrilegious.
I said surely her barbecue card has been pulled by the powers that be. But it looked like at the end it tasted really good.
Yeah, it's hard to ruin a good ribeye, but over charcoal is definitely the best, the better way, the higher way.
Well, let me just on that video, Susie, let me just ask, what were you thinking?
Listen, if you're a cook, you got to have an open mind. I think sometimes, especially in barbecue,
that guy over there.
Listen, especially in barbecue, people tend to become very close-minded because they find a way to do things and it works really good. So then they say, this is the only way to do things. This is the best way to do things. And then sometimes they get mean about it on the internet and they yell at me for trying different things. But one thing that I think I've always prided myself on, I've always been really good at, is not falling into the trap of saying my way is the best way. My way is the only way. I have really tried to maintain an attitude of what you like is the best way. How you like to cook is the best way. I can teach you what I've learned. I can teach you my skills, and I can only develop skills if I'm trying different things, if I'm cooking things different ways. That's why you see us cook on, I have 25 different grills and smokers. So I cook on pellet grills and drum smokers, and we cook on offset smokers and the Masterbuilt gravity feds. Like, we cook on such a different variety of cookers because I think it's all valuable to our audience to know that it doesn't matter what you have, you can make really great food. And we've even done a couple of videos of doing a brisket in the oven using Todd's grandma's recipe. And, we're always open to trying things that typical barbecue people would turn their nose up at or say no to. And I think part of the reason is just keeping that accessibility there for the general public, because we're in barbecue, so we obviously have our opinions, but people that are new, they don't have opinions yet, and I would much rather them keep an open mind as well and be willing to try different things and cook things different ways. So maybe we're not going to be cooking a ribeye in the air fryer every time, but I do feel pretty confident now that I could turn out a pretty decent steak if I had to.
There's the old saying, there's no such thing as bad publicity, and the same goes in social media. So if you're trying to be a little controversial, people just have to say something and engage, and that just boosts the posts and helps, then thinks Instagram likes it,
I thought it was great.
So, one of the things we do at Steve's Place at Owl's Nest, and have been for a long time, for years, is we promote the backyard people that come in there, the people that say, you know what, I wished I could cook something that good. And it's not that they can't, but they're afraid to take that leap, that little chance, kind of like what you were saying. So what we do is we spend a lot of time teaching people how to carve a brisket up, right? Get it ready to go, different times and temperatures, seasonings, what goes well together. We don't charge anybody anything for that. Bring your stuff down there. We take the time with them. What do you cook on? They tell us, well, I've got this. I don't have what you have here. That's okay, right? Yep. You have what you like and you cook on it, and you can still put out a great product. So for me, as I said earlier, it's always been about people enjoying, learning, and then they come back and they're saying, I can't believe I cooked it. My friend said it was the best they ever had. And so that's enjoyment for me. That's what I like to see. And people keep coming back and getting stuff and talking about it. And then I tell them, send us pictures, tell us, show us. And then, you know what? Sometimes they come up with some great ideas we didn't think of, and we add that in there. So I love that. It's great that you do that.
Hey, tell us about the one thing on the website that kind of caught my attention was the Grill Squad. Tell me about the Grill Squad. That looks very interesting.
So about 8 years ago, I was a couple of years into Hey Grill Hey. And I realized there's a lot of information out there, right? There are a lot of websites, a lot of YouTube channels, a lot of videos, and people can spend hours researching. And I realized that some of my followers who were kind of a little bit more beginners were falling into, like, we call it analysis paralysis. Like, if you watch 20 videos on how to smoke a brisket, how do you know what's the right video on how to smoke a brisket? So I decided, if I really do want to educate people and teach people, what better way to do that than like barbecue classes? Barbecue classes are the best, right? You know this. Being an educator, teaching people, getting their hands on it is a great way to learn. But I can't be all over the country. So how can I give people that same level of education and experience and community without being there in person? And we decided to, brush up our video skills and record what I consider to be really great beginner 101, everything that you need to know, not fancy, not over the top, but really useful information on how to cook some of these, these main backyard style items. So I started with 4 classes on brisket, pork ribs, pulled pork, and whole chicken. and just like the 101 knowledge that if you're going to start from nothing, you watch this video, you follow along, you're going to have a great result at the end of it, which means you're probably going to be more confident the next time you try. Because I messed up a lot when I was first cooking, and it did kind of kill my confidence. I had to overcome some of that to keep the process going and keep cooking and keep trying. So I just wanted to give people just that boost of what would it be like if Susie was teaching you how to cook a brisket. If I could curate the perfect class, what would I teach you? And I put all that into a video and into the Grill Squad. So we now have, I think, over a dozen videos, a dozen Pitmaster class videos. I've brought in some of my friends to help teach some of their special skills. I had an SCA cook come in and teach us how to cook ribeyes. I did a meat buying class because that can be really intimidating to people. I don't even know what cut to buy. I don't know what to ask for at the butcher counter. So we went to a butcher counter and my friend walked us through, here are some of our favorite cuts. Here's what to ask for. So we've really tried to make this a really valuable resource. And along with the educational piece, there's a community aspect to it as well. There's a Facebook group that Todd and I are in every month doing live videos. We host giveaways and challenges based on different themes of people to cook every month. So it's that element of like, share your photos, tell us what you're cooking, and the entire community comments and participates and cheers each other on through different phases of the cooking process. And we also have a really fun welcome box. When you join, we ship you an apron with a patch on it, and you can earn additional patches when you go through each class and pass off the class and share to the group, which is fun. So it's one of our favorite places on the internet. We've been hanging out with our Grill Squad people. Like I said, some of them have been in there for the whole 8 years, and they're still active and engaged and communicating and participating members of our community. So it's a very cool barbecue place. It was, if I had a barbecue store, it would be the Grill Squad. Uh-oh, he cut out. Did you hear him?
I didn't catch what.
Try one more time.
Live events for the members.
We haven't, but Todd has promised them one, so he's gonna try and put one together.
I think that'd be really neat.
Yeah.
Kind of a Super Bowl or something once a year like that.
Exactly.
But that is a great idea to give people a library or a place to come to check out, because so many times, Pete and Pete's the best at telling people how to do it, but if they don't see it being done, it's difficult. And I know what you mean by going to YouTube, because you watch 20 different people, there's 20 different methods. One guy's smearing mustard all over it, then the next guy's smearing mayonnaise all over it.
Yeah.
And I tell people don't
fun.
And I tell people don't do that. I just say just spray it with Pam olive oil. It all does the same thing, but you get so many different opinions,
and that's okay. For hobbyists, I think that's fun. Because like I said, we like to try different stuff. But if you're starting out, sometimes it's great to have a trusted resource that says, do this your first time. It'll turn out good. And then you can take some notes. So then next time, if you want to try a mustard binder versus an olive oil slather or whatever, like if you want to try spritzing or not spritzing, you have a baseline to work from because you had something turn out great the first try. So now you can tweak to your taste. Maybe you want to try a coffee rub because you think that flavor profile would be great. Or maybe you want to try, anyway, it just gives you a good baseline to start from and then build your barbecue skills on top of a foundation that's solid. And that was kind of our goal with the Grill Squad, was to really build that foundational knowledge and empower people to then, maybe then you try something new. Maybe then you make your own alterations because you have the confidence to do it and the background because you've done it before.
The first thing, and you give them a paper that says, if you do this, and they'll come down and watch you cook, they'll eat it, they'll love it, think it's fantastic. Can I cook it just like that? Absolutely. Here's what you do. Talk to them the next day and said, how'd the brisket turn out? It was horrible. Well, what was wrong with it? Well, I watched this video, YouTube. I watched this YouTube video and they said to do this. I said, so you didn't cook it the way we told you and showed you? And no, we did. Well, how about try it that way this time? And it just kills me. Just try it. And then you can tweak it as you go along.
Exactly. Good place to start. Basics, 101 stuff, easy, can't fail. tried and true methods, and then you have the confidence to play around because you know what to start from.
Don't you wish you could then turn off YouTube just for like a week for them? Say, don't watch it. Just don't watch it. Just watch my video and do it this way and then expand. Tell me about the first time I saw you on television was on episode 1 of Barbecue Brawl, which to this day is still, they're all good. Don't get me wrong. They're all good. But that was, I mean, my goodness, it was Susie Bulloch, Leanne Whippen, Joe Pierce, Kevin Bledsoe, Carrie Bringle, Tuffy Stone, Phil the Grill, and Lene Oxley. I mean, those were the huge. Those were the biggest names in barbecue, and I knew all of them except one, Susie Bulloch.
You're not alone. Nobody knew me. It was great.
Tell me about that experience because I don't know. We'll get on into a few other things, but what was that? To me, that looks like it will be an awful lot of fun.
It was so much fun. I think Todd can probably tell you the best story about the first night of filming.
Which one? Like
when I called you.
Just before you started filming?
Yeah, we showed up. We hadn't even started filming yet. They had a meeting with all of the contestants in the lobby of the hotel.
She called me and started naming. Well, first she said she rode with Leanne in the car from the airport, and I was like, oh. And then she started listing off everybody there, and she's like, I don't know who's judging, I don't know who's competing, but
Amy Mills, Big Mo Cason, Chris Lilly. I didn't know who was judging and who was competing.
She's like, I'm coming home tomorrow.
I'm like, there is no way that they're going to put me up against these people and expect me to do anything of value. Like, I will see you tomorrow. Love you so much. It was fun for me to go take this shot, but I'm just, the people cooking were legends, not just in barbecue, but in competitive barbecue. And then there's people like Leanne, who had her own food truck, or Tuffy, who had his own background in French cooking and naval cooking. And then there's Kevin Bledsoe and Joe and Carrie, and they're all restaurant owners and competitive cooks. And I'm like, huh. I found out after talking to Michael Simon at the end of the competition, he said, you need to know that Bobby and I were meeting together going over all of the contestants, and we knew all of the contestants except you. And we were actually fighting over who was going to end up with the blogger. Like, neither of them wanted me on their team. I was picked last in the first episode. It was very clear that I was not favored to win the event. Since then, obviously, they've brought on a lot more content creators, a lot more bloggers, a lot more website personalities, and not just restaurant and competitive cooks. But that first season was stacked, and I was so terrified. But it was some of the most fun I've ever had cooking barbecue. And I was lucky enough to make it into the finale.
If she was filming live, you need to know behind the scenes. Like, I don't know what's going on because they turn their phones in. They can't have their phones all day. So she'd call me at night and say, I didn't go home. Not only that, I wasn't even up for elimination. She's like, Tuffy went home or Joe went home. And I'm just like, what? Like, I couldn't even, and she just kept staying on. It was so cool.
Awesome. Well, that was a great one. I saw, and you were with Michael Simon when he on Barbecue USA when he did the Superstar team. You were one of the team members. What was that like cooking at Memphis in May? I've never done Memphis May. I don't do that kind of barbecue. What was that like?
A party. It was the most fun you can imagine while doing the hardest work you can imagine. I mean, prepping and lifting and transporting all of those pigs was a labor on its own. But beyond that, the planning and coordination that Joe put into getting that team together, getting the tent there, getting all of the cookers there, all of the pigs there. And then on the TV side, all of the effort that they went into making sure that they could get the shots they needed and producing it in real time. That was like real reality television. Everything that they saw was happening in real time. And it was a massive effort to watch it happen and how much work went into making that one episode of television that was 30 minutes of airtime total out of an entire 3 days of filming, and 3 days of work and 3 days of effort. So it was a massive undertaking, but it was actually so much fun. Like I said, the most amount of work and the most amount of fun you could possibly have at the same time.
What have you got going now in television? And compare television. I don't know if you can, but what do you enjoy more, doing television or do you doing your videos on YouTube?
I don't even have anything coming up on TV right now, and I'm actually kind of grateful. It is a lot of time. Like I said, the amount of planning for television, because there are so many moving parts, and there's unions involved, and there's producers involved, and there's agents and showrunners, and just the level of coordination it's extreme for produced television. YouTube is a lot more fun for me because I get to be my own producer, and I get to, kind of be my own director and plan the shoots and have the ingredients the way that I like them. So we've definitely transitioned more towards social media and YouTube for our video content, because it's more fun to produce that type of content for us, and it's a little bit easier. There's always a soft spot in my heart for TV because it's just an experience. To see how it all works and how it all fits together, and have a look at, what's happening behind the screen and behind the curtain is a very cool, unique perspective to have. But I think we prefer our YouTube style of cooking. It feels more authentic. A lot of food that's filmed for those TV shows is never even eaten. It goes to waste. It's cooked by producers off screen or food stylists off screen. And it does feel a little bit wasteful, and so YouTube's a little bit more fun because we all get to eat and enjoy the food that we make.
Well, Susan, videos are so good, and you can tell they're professionally done. Where do you get your inspiration for, like you said, you had that trip to Puerto Rico and something was in back of your brain when you're out driving around, or Todd, when you're out in town driving around? Do y'all ever come together and say, "Hey, I saw this guy at a hot dog stand making, hot dogs with brisket on it. We ought to try that." Or is it something that y'all discuss, or do you get your inspiration from other videos?
I don't actually watch a lot of other videos. I think sometimes people fall into that trap of, you'll see the same video pop up over and over, and everybody cooks the same thing for 2 weeks because one guy had it go viral, so then everybody makes it. We tend to not do a lot of those. We usually just stick to recipes that I'm excited about cooking for when we're making our video content. Because again, it just feels more authentic to us and to what I like to make. But inspiration for recipes comes from everywhere. Todd will tell me, "I need you to make this for me." We did have a couple videos on YouTube where he went to the grocery store and bought ingredients and came home with ingredients and said, "Here's what I have. You have to make it now because I really want to try it." So there is a little bit of inspiration just coming from my home. What are my kids excited about eating right now? I still have 3 kids and I got to feed them. So there are a lot of recipes on the website for things that we're cooking a lot at home. I do a grilled chicken pasta salad that is one of our weeknight go-to meals. And I realized I didn't even post it on the website. I hadn't even written about it yet, but I'm making it all the time. So there are just a lot of things that come from our lifestyle and our home. But also traveling. We love to travel, and we love to eat, and we love to try different foods. And so that always inspires, what you want to bring home and what you want to try and recreate and feature people.
Wider palate than I do, and he owned a restaurant, so he knows a lot more about food than I do.
I travel a lot too. So
Yeah.
I'm getting ready I leave on the 3rd of April for the Netherlands for 21 days.
Fun.
So the very first day I get there is a cooking lesson from one of the local people there that's going to teach and show me what they eat, how they eat. And so it'll be a full day of cooking at her place.
Amazing.
That's cool.
Yeah, we just got back from London with our kids, and we shared a lot in our Instagram stories, kind of in real time, of what our trip was like. And we're very fortunate to have pretty adventurous eaters for children as well, which makes it way more fun because they're willing to try a bunch of other stuff too. But I mean, we had some of the most amazing Lebanese food and Indian food, and London is such a diverse food culture. And so that was really fun to be able to share with them. And we made a joke in our Instagram stories, like, I promise we do more when we're traveling than eat, but not very much. Like, that's kind of a big focus for us when we travel, is trying different foods that we can live in a smaller town. So we don't have a ton of variation. So traveling is a great way for us to expand our palates and try new things and experiment with new flavors. And it's a really fun part of, you know, our lives. And we definitely bring that back with us to the website.
I don't want to bore anybody, but Todd, tell me about patio provisions. You touched on it a little earlier when we were talking. And the reason I bring it up, you tell me a little bit about that. Sounds like a very interesting endeavor.
It's kind of in its baby phase right now, but it started because when she was on Food Network, they were making us sign these crazy contracts where they were requiring us to pay them like 20% of, you know, our product sales and cookbook sales. And so we contacted an attorney on how to avoid that. And they said, just set up a second company that I own, and then we manufacture and make all the products. And then Hey Grill Hey just gets paid a royalty fee of $1 or something like that. And then we only have to pay 20 cents. So luckily none of that panned out. But then we had this, you know, separate LLC that just continued to manage the manufacturing of the Hey Grill Hey product. And I just was able to build a vast network of co-packers and a knowledge of how to do, you know, LTL shipments to retailers, or how to do e-commerce shipping and run a warehouse. And, you know, so we just decided one day, Hey Grill Hey's kind of running on all cylinders. And we had a friend who was, she had a barbecue rub line with a different company, and they dropped her, and she just loved it so much. And I said, well, we can help you get your rubs back to market. And we knew the pitfalls to avoid. We knew, you know, the snaky things that can happen. And we were able to get her 3 rubs back on market back in October. And it was just super fulfilling and fun. And so we're like, well, let's just open the door to see what we can do. And we've had people just knocking down our door. We've got cookie mixes and barbecue products and cake fondant and drink mixes, a coffee mix. Like, it's just been, because she has a lot of friends in the general food blog world that want to do marinades. And so there's just a lot of opportunity to become kind of a food product consultant, and then also provide the like full end-to-end service on warehousing, distribution, shipping to direct consumer sales and wholesale sales. So that's kind of what it's grown to become.
I'll take you even a little bit more back. There would be no Hey Grill Hey products if Todd didn't do it. He came from a CPA
Tell that
background.
story. Tell that story, Susie. That's a good story. You told Deuce, and repeat it again the way you started the products. That one of y'all said no way, and the other one said okay. Tell that story.
We had people asking us. I had my sweet rub recipe online because, you know, back in the day, nobody shared their secret rub recipes. It was grandpa's rub, but you had to pay for it or hide it, or, you know, it was locked in a vault somewhere. But I developed a sweet rub recipe that was a really great classic barbecue rub, and I shared it online, and it went really popular because nobody was sharing those types of recipes. And so we had people asking, I'm making this sweet rub a bucket at a time. Can you please just bottle it for me? I would be so much easier. And I said, Todd, we should bottle this stuff. And he said, absolutely not. He came from a CPA background where he was an auditor, and he would audit inventory-based companies. And he's like, you have built the perfect company. You have no inventory. You have no warehouse. You have no footprint. You're working from home. Like, why would you want to make things harder by developing a physical product company with inventory? And I said, I don't know, but the people want it. And I feel like it's a good business idea if people are asking you to make something, to make that thing. And so after a couple of months of convincing and a dozen or so more messages, he finally agreed. And he took on the entire project, from sourcing bottles to ingredients, finding co-packers, figuring out what you need on labels. How do we ship these things? He figured out every bit of that. So yes, Patio Provisions and us helping other people bring their products to market is new, but what he actually does is years and years and years of industry experience at this point, because he's been doing it for my brand for the last 6 years. And he's built an amazing team of people on the fulfillment and warehouse side. You guys know Ryan on kind of our marketing and our retail side. So we have a really great team over at Patio Provisions that is currently running all the Hey Grill Hey products. And now we're able to help other people bring their food products to market, because it's very difficult. There are a lot of hurdles to jump over to bring a food product to market. There's a lot of information that you need to know. And he has all of the knowledge. So now he's helping other people kind of live their own barbecue dreams like I did and like he did for me. And it's very exciting to watch him kind of take off and really thrive and really help other people live out their own, entrepreneurial dreams. It's very, very cool to witness.
Is there a line, Todd, that you've drawn, like this is what we're going to do and no more, or are you looking at more merchandise sales? To me, that seems like an area that has just gotten huge over the last 5 years. People wanting T-shirts and hats and that sort of thing. Is there a plan to introduce more merchandise? And tell me about the gloves that you wear, Susie, in your videos. That was what caught my eye, and I can't find them now.
Yeah, hold on. I don't know about merch. I've always had this dream of having cool merch, but there's just too many other things going on. So I don't see we've got a lot of room to grow. So if anyone out there's listening and you want to bring a food product to market, like give me an email, todd@heygrillhey.com, and we'll try to take. I had a call this morning with a guy who has his grandpa's 70-year-old some kind of sauce recipe that he wants to bring to market. So but anyway, so we're also trying to do some other non-food items. We tried to develop a grill brush with a disposable head, but we hit some patent issues, and we still might try to bring it, but I don't know. But the next idea we had is as we're pulling pulled pork, there were never any good gloves. There's no good gloves. You either had the best option is the cheap cotton gloves with the nitrile over them.
Right.
And that's fine. But I kind of scoured the internet and found, some samples of different gloves that are already made. And then but
they were commercial gloves. They were for gardening, or they were for cleaning, or they were chemical gloves. We couldn't find any food safe, heat rated, certified gloves that would give us all the features that we wanted in a barbecue glove.
Waterproof, oil-proof, full dexterity, heat proof. We went down the road. It's been 4 or 5 years of trying to find a glove manufacturer that would figure this out with us, and we finally found one, and they're done, and they're literally en route to our warehouse. We did a big pre-sale back in October. We had to shut it down after 4 days because, quite frankly, we sold too many in the pre-sale. People are very impatient. When are we going to get them? When are we going to get them? But
we're within weeks of having gloves ready to ship out. So we're very excited. It's been a very long process.
Well, the reason I asked that, because all the gloves you mentioned, Pete and I use every day at the store and when we're cooking. And the nitrile over cotton is fine if it's not too hot. But when you go to the pit barrel and you grab something off the pit barrel, it's in a pan. If we have it in a pan, you can't pick the pan up and then grab the product. You know what I'm saying? The pan's too hot. So the 450 degree heat line, it was what interested me. I said, that's the thing. When I saw that, I said, that's what I've been looking for. Something I can move the pan, take the bars out, and then handle the food too.
Yep.
It'll do everything except you can't handle like coals with it or anything like that. But
no.
Or screaming hot grill grates that are 800 degrees probably wouldn't be a good idea.
Yeah, so we really went down the line of, I mean, even picking the material of the liner of the product so that it was the right thickness and that it was soft enough to feel great. The outer coating is double nitrile dipped and it meets FDA certifications for food safety. We had it third-party independent lab tested because this is going to be stuff that I'm using on my food. I want to make sure that if I'm touching hot food, I'm not transferring anything to that food that I wouldn't want to be eating or that I wouldn't serve my family. So we were really mindful about not just function from a heat perspective, but also safety from a consumable food perspective. So we have put thought into every single piece of these gloves, which is why it's taken a couple of years to get them exactly. I mean, even in the factory where we make them, we have a dedicated line that only uses our food safe nitrile. And the only gloves that run through that line are food safe gloves. So it was a very long process. It's been a very expensive process. But I don't think I've ever been more excited to bring a product to market because I think this serves so many people and it fills an actual need. With people that cook barbecue, you're either getting the thick rubber silicone gloves that you don't have any dexterity and they don't have any heat resistance, or you have the heat resistant cotton gloves with the grip on them, but you can't handle food because they're not waterproof. So we just felt like there just wasn't anything perfect out there. And I think we made the perfect barbecue glove. So I'm very excited.
I can't wait to try it because the nitrile over cotton is good to a point, but it's a pain. You've got to take them off, and then you got to get another set of nitriles, and because you got to throw those away, and it's just you're always messing. Well, you're always messing with your hands. And it's a lot of waste.
It's a lot of waste. It's not great.
I want something that I can wear and then rinse off in the sink real quick.
That's exactly how you do it.
But not have your hands get wet if they're waterproof. Yep. So I think you've hit a winner there. You may be the Hey Girl Hey glove company before it's all over.
Who knows? Hopefully that would be amazing. But we're within weeks of having gloves in our warehouse, so we're very very excited. That's our next product launch.
I saw in a couple of videos. I saw a Green Mountain grill in one of your videos. Pellet grill, Green Mountain. I saw a pit barrel in one of the pictures. What is your favorite grill to cook on?
Oh,
you don't have to say a name.
Yeah, you don't have to name brand it. Just what kind of?
We have 25 different types of grills. If I had to dial it down to 2 grills, if I had to delete every other grill or give away every other grill or sell every other grill, I would have a dedicated charcoal grill, like a kettle or a PK or, a really just a dedicated solid charcoal kettle grill because it can do it all. It can smoke low and slow. It can grill hot and fast. I can 2-zone cook. I can bake on it. Like I can just do everything. The other grill I would have would be a pellet grill because it gives me the hands off that I sometimes need as a mom of 3 kids and a really busy person. It gives me a little bit more of that set it and forget it lifestyle that is sometimes beneficial to me. But the temperature range on those is really valuable to me as well because I can smoke at those lower temperatures. I can use it for cold smoking. I can do those extended longer cooks without too much babysitting. And I can also grill a little bit hotter and faster if I need to. So if I only had 2 in my arsenal, it would probably be a pellet grill and a charcoal grill.
Yeah, I love my PK.
And we're thinking, and the reason we're thinking this is because we're getting more requests for just charcoal grills. You think we're turning back to charcoal in this industry?
Yes, I think we are. And I think part of it is pellet grills are kind of the gateway drug for backyard barbecue cooks, right? Because the pellet grill companies put so much money into marketing and distribution, and they made backyard barbecue really accessible. So a lot of people who had never smoked anything in their lives, had only ever had a gas grill, bought this pellet grill at Costco on a sale or whatever, or they found it at Home Depot, or they became so easy to buy and so simple to use. And there's so much information online on how to use them that they got people into barbecue. And once you kind of make that leap into barbecue, you're like, oh, what else can I have? What else can I do? And that was honestly my journey. My first grill was a pellet grill. My second grill was a charcoal. It was a Weber Kettle Performer. And I've had a million grills since then. And those are the two that I would go back to. But I do think people are returning to charcoal because I think that's the next evolution. People aren't going to go back to gas, right? Once you've had a wood smoked, fire cooked food, you're probably not going to go back to gas. But if you want the higher temperatures, if you want a little bit of the romanticism, if you want that all-American sizzle of burgers on charcoal on the 4th of July, you got to get a charcoal grill, and they're affordable and they're accessible and they're easy to use. So I definitely think that is a trend that we're seeing in barbecue, is people returning to kind of that nostalgia of a charcoal grill, for sure.
Because the biggest complaint I get on the pellet grills, and we're a Green Mountain Grill dealer, is I can't get enough smoke taste on it, and that's everybody's complaint. I mean, it's not just Green Mountain; it's whether you're on a Traeger or any brand.
Yeah.
They complain about, and we have the smoke tubes, and they're still not satisfied with it. Do you think it might be a taste thing, Susie?
I do think it's a taste thing if people are coming from charcoal or coming from an offset grill and looking for the ease of a pellet grill. They're going to lose out because of the combustion. The way that sawdust pellets ignite and combust,
Burns too clean.
By nature, they will release less smoke.
Yeah.
It is a very clean burn, but it is a lighter smoke flavor. I don't know if you've ever cooked on a Camp Chef Woodwind Pro or if you've seen those models at all, but they have a firebox above the fire pot. So the pellets feed into the fire pot and they ignite, but above the fire pot, they have a removable box where you can add in wood chunks or charcoal, and it creates a separate type of combustion. And the separate type of combustion creates that heavier smoke flavor. So I think they're the only ones in the category that I've seen that have really attempted to engineer a solution to bridge that gap between the ease and convenience of pellets and the combustion and the stronger smoke flavor of charcoal or whole wood chunks. But I just don't think you can do it in the pellet grill category otherwise, because those pellets are just going to burn clean. That's how they're designed, and that's just kind of what they do. So it is a flavor thing. It is a preference thing. It's a taste thing. But yeah, I don't know that there are any other real solid solutions other than the one that I've seen out of Camp Chef.
It's hard to offset. I've cooked on an old original Oklahoma Joe that I have offset that I can't get food. I don't care whatever I cook it on as good as that.
Nope.
Pellets a lot easier, quicker. Anybody can cook on them, as you talked about. But the thing that finally got me, the barrels have actually got me back in my PK into, I don't have to babysit. My offset, you got to babysit. And believe me, you got to babysit it a lot. But the food that comes off of it is unbelievable.
It's so true.
As you get older, time is more important, So, but yeah, I think that's a lot of it. And I do know, Steve, you and I went to a show in Nashville last year, I think it was, that Green Mountain Grill was supposed to come out 2025 with a new grill that just works off of wood chips.
Yeah,
it looks like a pellet grill. Did you see it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I haven't seen it come out, and I know they had several that they were testing and trying, but I'm just wondering if those are going to come out, because I think those will be really good.
Yep.
Well, I haven't seen it either, but being a dealer, I'm the last one to know for some reason.
But it really does come down to that
Susie and Todd for me.
Yeah, I'll ask Jason about it. We talk to Jason every now and then, the owner of Green Mountain.
Yeah, we know Jason. He's a nice guy.
He is.
Hey, you guys have been just so great, and to spend to want to spend your 10th anniversary with the guys in Ottawa, Tennessee, is just great. Hey, at the end of every show, we do a little food review of the things that we have a page here, Todd and Susie, called the Owl's Nest Barbecue Nation. and it's very similar to what you're doing with the with your grill club on your website. People post pictures and they'll tell us how they did it. And have you got time to go through these and maybe critique some of them?
That'd be fun.
Yeah, it'll be fun. We'll start that now.
And Steve, we didn't get a chance. We didn't check, but I got to tell you this. So there's a lot of people commenting. There's a lot of comments, a lot of things. There was one of our guys that does a lot of our cooks and stuff. He come on there and said he talked with his wife about barbecue all the time. Never showed any interest until he showed her your brand and talked to her about you. So now she's interested in barbecue. So I thought that was really cool, right?
Women in
That
barbecue.
makes me so happy. And there really is an element of accessibility. Sometimes you just have to see somebody doing something that looks like you, or that feels like you, or that acts like you, or that is relatable to you, because sometimes barbecue feels a little bit unrelatable to people that aren't in barbecue. And so it's really cool to be able to represent a new generation and a new wave of people that are excited about cooking outside, that maybe just never saw themselves entering that space before. So it hasn't always been easy to be taking up space in a previously male-dominated field. There have been some hard days with it, but it's always worth it, especially when you get messages like that. And we've met a lot of people who have said very similar comments and had similar sentiments, that it is fun and it is refreshing to see somebody that kind of opens that door a little bit. So we're honored to be able to do that for people. It's very
Absolutely.
cool.
Guys, we won't make it through that, but here we go. We're going to start off. This is our friend Billy Holland. He's from down in Georgia. Come on, there he is. He's doing a pork butt. He's got a brand new gravity feed smoker from Old Country Pits. There is the new setup.
All right.
Yeah, and I took a close up. That's a smokestack. That's these guys.
Amazing.
These guys are. We got goofy friends. Here's a couple spatchcock chickens. Now, how good do those look?
Beautiful.
Those look amazing. You can tell the rub has a good color on the rub before it even hits the smoke. And I think that's a huge part of developing that final, kind of bark, that mahogany dark bark that we want on our smoked foods. I will also say some of the best pulled pork I've ever had in my life was off of a gravity-fed smoker. So I think that's a great option for pulled pork. Pulled pork is so fatty. It's so rich. It's so thick. It's hard to get deep smoke flavor or penetration in there. But those gravity-fed smokers do a really great job because they hit it with that heavy charcoal flavor, and I think it just works so well with pork. I think it's awesome.
Here's one of the practice ribs from he did that over charcoal. That's what we'll be doing on the 29th. I don't know if I told y'all how we're going to do it. Each person brings a grill, and we're going to give them a bag of the good charcoal and give them one rib, and they have to cook it on a grill or over charcoal. They can do it, just so it's over charcoal. They can do it Greek style. They can, if they think they have time to smoke it, if to hang it, they can do it just so as long as they do it over charcoal, and they only have 90 minutes to get it cooked
and turned in
and sliced and turned in 5 of the best ribs from that one single rib. So it's going to be kind of I think a fire drill.
I love it.
Especially towards the end.
I don't think people do hot and fast ribs enough, honestly. It's one of my favorite ways of cooking ribs, especially over charcoal. One thing that you do have to be mindful of if you're cooking that hot and fast is sugar in your rub and sugar in your glaze. Because once you crack 275, it will burn. 100% it's going to burn. It doesn't matter if you spritz it. It doesn't matter if you wrap it. It's going to burn. So what I like to do when
I did that 2 Saturdays ago and ruined ribs.
It does. What I like to do if I'm cooking ribs hot and fast like that is I actually use salt and pepper based rub. I use my beef rub on ribs. And we grill them hot and fast. We get them up to temperature. I actually have a recipe on my website if you guys wanted a cheat code for hot and fast baby back ribs. And they are done in under 90 minutes. But I grill them hot and fast with my beef rub, and then I glaze them in the last little bit. So you get that nice caramelization on the outside without taking it too far. You really only want to baste the sauce in the last 5 minutes or so if it has any sugar in it, or you risk, burning, over caramelizing and going from nice dark bark to carbon burn, overcooked caramel, which is what we don't want. There's a fine line between char and burned, and you know it when you taste it, but it usually happens when you've got sugar on anything over 275.
Here in Jordan's riblets. You remember we were talking about riblets? That's what he's going to be turning in. We're doing baby backs. Those look awful good. This is our friend Jason Penley down in Rock Spring, Georgia. He's got some shrimps on the Barbie.
Beautiful.
You
Looks
do a lot
like
of
he's got
shrimp?
them on some grill grates. Maybe
He
flipped
does.
over, maybe not flipped over. I actually love cooking shrimp on grill grates because you don't lose them through your
Yeah.
actual grates.
We sell grill grates. They're great.
Yeah.
There's a couple steaks that he did.
Beautiful.
Got the flavor stripes on there. They look really good. Here is 3 of Mike Shadwick's practice ribs. They're all getting good color.
Yeah.
I think on these
Yep.
ribs. They're looking good.
One thing,
Steve,
it looks like he hung those ribs. So you can tell.
Yes, he did.
Look
Yes,
at
he
the
did.
color on each end of those ribs. So those
Mhm.
drum cookers, because they tend to be a little bit cyclonic, you generally have a concentration of heat at the bottom and a little bit at the top by the lid. Sometimes what we've done is we actually split our ribs in half when we're hanging them in the barrel cooker, because it gives you a little bit more distance between the bottom of your rack and the top. And we've even double hooked the hooks. So instead of having the ribs closer to the top and closer to the bottom, by doing 2 hooks and half a rack of ribs, it gives you a little bit more distance between the top and the bottom. So you don't lose as many ribs on either end to that kind of higher heat or potential for burning.
He's got it going on. He's got his on a kettle. I'm sure that looks familiar to you.
Yeah, it looks like he trimmed those ribs really nice too. You see how square the edges are on those? They look beautiful.
I'm the only person in the United States that's never owned a Weber kettle. And there's his finished product right there.
Gorgeous.
They look
Those look
good,
great.
don't they?
Yeah, so good. You guys are
now-
going to be eating good here in a couple weeks.
Those judges will be eating really good. They'll be full. They'll be full. Now this guy here, I wanted you to see this, Susie and Todd. Some of this might be an inspiration for a video for you. Thomas is in Germany.
Yep, Germany. Thomas
And
Payne.
he watches our show on when it's we post it, and he sends us food pictures every week, and he's a very good cook. And this time he did bacon wrapped gnocchi.
Gnocchi.
Is it pronounced gnocchi or gnocchi?
Gnocchi.
Depends on what part.
What is it?
Gnocchi.
Yeah,
Gnocchi.
I say it depends on what part of the country you're in.
Gnocchi. All right.
You don't want to hear my wife say it. She's born and raised in Alabama and has the southern drawl you've ever heard.
There's when he starts right there.
Okay.
Got it in there, and here's his. He's got them wrapped and got the toothpick in it, and there's a basket of them. That looks good, doesn't it?
Hey, Thomas, sehr gut gemacht. Das sieht sehr gut aus.
Oh my goodness.
Todd speaks German.
Well, he and Thomas, and there's the finished product. That thing looks just like you want to reach in and bite it right there.
I have an 11-year-old and a 13-year-old who love gnocchi, and I feel like they would absolutely devour those.
Yes.
Yeah.
I would.
Well,
Yeah.
Thomas does a good job. Listen, thank you so much. Thank you for being a sponsor of our contest. Thanks for spending your 10-year anniversary with us. I hope you have something planned.
And congratulations.
And
again.
Todd, go to heygrillhey.com. They're having a party over there, I saw. And
We
you
are.
can
We're
sign
doing
up.
a massive giveaway. We're giving away a pellet grill, a full lineup of Hey Grill Hey products. We've got a t-shirt, and we're giving away a pair of gloves. They'll ship as soon as the gloves get here. So I think we have I think the value of all the stuff we're giving away is over $1,000. So it's a really fun, way to get a lot of things all at one time. So you should go check that out for sure. That's right on the homepage of the website and on the banner.
The prize purse for our contest is $1,750. First place is $700. Second place is $400. Third place $300. Fourth place $200, and fifth place is $150. And
Awesome.
the only way we could do it is with your help, David Bosca's help, and the good folks at the Good Charcoal Company.
Thank you so
I'm
much.
so excited. That's going to be so
appreciate
fun.
y'all.
We can't wait for y'all.
And we'll be sure to give you the results.
Yeah, keep us posted.
We'll do it. Thank you both so much.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Have a good night.
Thanks for spending time with us, Susie and Todd. We appreciate it very much. Susie and Todd Bulloch from Utah. What a great couple. What a great business. Sky's the limit for them. You can tell Pete. Hey, let's get to the comments here. Let's see what all of our guys had to say here. Let's see. Mark Ellis is saying, hello. Keith Jordan says, running some as we speak. Got my charcoal today. That's good, Heath. Appreciate it. Brent Hilliard says, are you going to stream the rib contest if we can't attend? The cordless knife is on my shop. Well, yes, we will be streaming that contest for you, Brent, of course. Steve Davidson. Hello, Steve and Pete. David Roberts. Good evening, David. Charles Pettit, our official scorekeeper. He says there seems to be an issue with sound from you. I hope there wasn't. Sound is okay now. Good. Good evening. It's Daddy Dutch. Good evening, gents. And Susie. I'm sure Susie knows Daddy Dutch. He is connected. Internet trolls, keyboard warriors are the best. Daddy Dutch again. Kiss Mother, keep it simple smoking. Michael Williams coming in. Sup, ladies and gents. Jeff Maxwell from Myrtle Beach.
Yeah.
Checking in. Hey, y'all. Chad Chadwick coming in. Steve, I'll be in soon to get some of Susie and Todd's seedlings. Chad, you won't be disappointed. It's good stuff. Charles says, a good show tonight. We appreciate that. Perry says, good show. We appreciate that, Perry. Perry is actually going to be helping us with the judging.
Yep.
And helping back theirs. And we appreciate all of Perry's help all the time. He is a pitch inner, that's for sure. Daddy Dutch, who is the biggest celebrity Susie has met? Well, it's me and Pete, because they spent their 10th anniversary with us, Dutch. They turned down Jimmy Fallon. So there you go. The fact that you guys share your recipes for your seasonings makes me want to buy them more rather than trying to make them. Like you said, it feels authentic. Absolutely. You can't. It's hard to make anything as good as these folks do.
Yep.
These professionals do it. Daddy, the Rip Tea Grill, that's what it's called, Daddy Dutch. We have seen it.
Yeah.
We hear it's loud, and that's what's the sticking point, is that it's loud. Barry says, bet some notes are being taken now. You got that right, Barry. I guarantee you, they'll probably
Susie gave them that secret.
They'll
right
probably
there.
shut down the website, or their server will go down there. Everybody's going to be trying to get some secrets from Susie.
Get that hot and fast rib.
Chad says his Weber is his day. I still have not owned. I've never cooked on a Weber kettle. I never cooked on one of those Napoleon kettles that we had. I've never cooked on a kettle grill. I'm going to fix that this year.
That's the first thing I ever cooked on.
That's the first thing everybody's cooked on except me. And Chad, one more time, says, Steve, great show, very informative. Thanks, Susie, and thanks, Todd. Thanks, you guys, for always for watching and pitching in, and we appreciate it. Don't forget, we'll be back. We'll be at the store all week. We'll be back Saturday morning at 10 o'clock for the 20 at 10. We'll be talking more about the rib contest. Don't forget, charcoal is in stock at the store. If you want to get a practice bag, we're selling it, and we'd love to see you. Love to see you in there until next Saturday and all week this week. We'll see you soon, and I mean real soon. Again, thank you to Susie Bulloch and Todd Bulloch. Thank you for spending your 10th anniversary with us. We appreciate it. The Owl's Nest Barbecue 2025 Rib Contest, brought to you by Susie Bulloch and all the folks at Hey Grill Hey, by Butcher Barbecue and David Bosca, by the good folks at the Good Charcoal Company, judging done by the guys at Chatted Up Sports with help from Chattanooga's own Jim Reynolds. March 29th, 10 a.m. at Owl's Nest Barbecue.